Hello and welcome to Sports. I'm Amudu Gajagan. Thank you for joining us. Coming up this afternoon, we'll be talking exclusively to Gambian cyclists who were recently in Senegal for a competition and won some awards. We will also be looking at the Gambia Under-20 as they prepare for the WAFU Under-20 Zone A Championship, which is going to be in Liberia next month. The team and how optimistic he is when it comes to the team making it the group phase final. They're in a very difficult group against familiar opponents like Senegal, Mauritania and Mali. We'll also get you an update on some of the Gambian players. The latest one to sign a contract is Aliou Fadera from Genk to Como, the new Italian league team that is being promoted from the Italian's Serie B to the Serie A. We'll be looking at that exclusively with Fode Mani and also another Gambian who scored in the Scottish Premier League, that is Adama Sidibe. Adama Sidibe scored a goal, almost close to a hat-trick. He scored twice, got a penalty. He could have made it a hat-trick, but scored at least a goal and left the penalty for his teammate to also score a goal. We'll be looking at Yankuba Minte. This is a player. If he features in Brighton Hove Albion's game today away to Everton, he's going to be the second Gambian player to play in the English Premier League. All that is things that we are going to look at on this afternoon's Qsports. But first, I have with me in the studio Usman Jane, a cyclist who represents the Gambia in international cycling competition, and also Aliou Jame. These two gentlemen join me in the studio. Well, the discussion is going to be in Mandinka, and then later in the second half of the show, when we take a break, we'll be talking to Fode Mani about the other stories that we have for you in the studio today on Qsports. Follow be albisimila la programme to Usman and sa foyo ko ngi bunyato kumandijang pour kana ka kacha Gambia cycling ko wala.
Okay, wa fala assalamu alaikum follow. Be mo be konton na na kebal nga mendu bula koma ani mene chance na pour nga nana nga ndam ko jam mo be content na follow.
Okay, baraka baki Aliou Jame.
Yeah, mo be content no comme aussi afanya min kebal ani nga mendu koma mine permission dimola ani mine be jibe kam family members all fans all everybody, you know. Mo be content na.
Usman say se kacha commence follow mbe nya balale couleur nyima la je nyakli la jang tableau kan akamunta ko ali jusu nyaburam fengo do lesoto abal data competition o
okay jusu nyaburam lesoto kam data competition na comme jang competition man siajang so ninga moy bantala nka mbulo fay nyokan kata ka mabe hana tan ko mamma ko rosoto no barin kata nga mabe so mabe woni nje wal nata ke nata nyin gagné de Aliou nata gagné ni tele ñu flol be gagné tol to yalla de.
Okay. Competition on ñing keta Senegal banko la ka.
Keta Senegal banko kan e ka fada men dar celui keta wolto with different cyclists le nata ka bo Senegal part demal to kanana ka mabe.
Kuma ta bake. Aliou Saïd min fo ya gagné a fogné ale kilomètre jelle bori cycling ni karola competition on ñing and ya gagné no ñaari.
Cycling race on it was 60 kilometers. Yeah, in total, but more than that 60 kilometers train can because kabinga information on my ngam it was 80 kilometers. Yeah, so me prepare kan that 80 kilometers la. So me prepare kan 80 kilometers la, you should train more than 80 kilometers. So me all train and then carry race long sita deliver, of course. Ni me 60 more than 60 or 80 kilometers train, you know, pro 60 kilometer race over kele just, you know, maybe couldn't that, you know. Yeah, Nigeria so and then nata deliver ngamin train, yeah, and
a competition on ketanya dila ba atul ndenga ku shudi alla ko to nal yedo ko kala non demanding komanto.
Yeah,
ni nata cycling jibe baskulo ko mata bakela akendema ni baskulo min tata je kora betiata demanding.
Actually no and better no, my bike weight is not bike weight more 11 kilos like heavy. Yeah, plus near bottle large, you know, bottle is 700 milligram of what I don't know. So as I can 12 kilos to that. Yeah, but race come with na competitors. Ela bike is 6 to 7 kilos carbon fiber, which costs $2 million CFA. Near changing, it could be around 198,000. With me, I just 200,000. It's just 3,000, I think. Everything I check, But with the obe, I realize more better confidence because kabe mbije lemu na nyanda finde kada race la Senegal bije ama Chase bije le Dakar bije and then Murtani natale and then Malon Chase ama Dakar Senegal kono je munto team juma fana bije minata en siatale so mbida kan boy do ka fanya ko boy ni reso be dulalde tanyin tangino ni la psychology be ni jibe ni ketan ga ko itop kata bore tolle kata bore ite kana wari ite kana ikujo kana fara so ngajale nun ko mbita kan confidence la dal ko nganya bonni la psychology kan ngalon ko psychology ka bore do aka ama participate le at least ni ila jia so le everything be is imperfect ila ko mo better ila nyanda focus la so but ndongo nyina taw be la because ndol bu ko soto so hala ma dingo de men soto bole tala so wala nan dingo be bonni na main ko ngam soto ngota so ko na le ni no ba ko mi alon ko CV but ngai bitwal kama reso ta dale kabara starta attack lenta so kabering munna teammate ko no ni min teammate killing do be nyato attack ta aning chess min le seconda ila teammate do be nyato so kabe wo be nyato and then attack ko kata ko attack ta relax ta so ndere la be relax kan dami os ben nyato do be je attack ta after ate fana wulta but nga wuri reply ta but amam moy so lekel aning na wuro na ta be fana na ta beng nga fe na ka moy so na wuro na ta be na ta beng ana fana tata so akada sayang do fana tata akada tol me teammate sababe be nyato aning killing so it means fair so le be nyato so mbije lafta kata but after ni men coach kan reso ko na ko no kanata so relax ta so ni no la teammate ko wolde 10 or more than 10 milio back and also more than 10 ibe ama ilamo fula I think ko le be nyato anen tol akada mo sabade mo 5 den tol mo sabade mo 5 so wolle be nyato and then so nde relax ta so nyiliye nyato muda mo 5 be nyato comme yani ni be chasing na pour ka nyato ko bendi fa team okay so team work bol kono ni nata nga space de la edung ni nata nga space de la edung so fe ta fo os no setone dami so after palaton ni nata tas grupo da tas so kabren grupo tas ta anen nga silo ni no wolto
sakira fankum
no akada still mo fla do be nyato
ndenya ndaka mil bay
ndenya ndaka mil bay so nga silo ni no wolto ngol bendi so kabren ngol bendi do bende koma so ba milibente comme raidal ni milibente fenke wol be motivate kan amuta jaba man kanaji so mfana ngamuta wolto ngana on pace muda me jimre na ba ko bal ngamuta ko so ngamuta wolto ngana on pace set so mi met ndeko manala o back and no be but amandu no we chose that back is important but physical train is more important
min ala wolto fon physical training na karola nkaje la tol every Saturday Sunday alka bodle fon na ma fon la birkama ma fon la kata fo bodato dasila me dana le ton ni dimba ala ali murun nan ko tenkal kana fo kombo jam ma fon so ni o jibe okay kilometer sol man jam fa bake nal kana prepare competition la alka train mun do ma fan comme an distance nya di alka mun bod
na long distance train kam so nim preta ka long distance train so to fo ñu ko le hit ida sebanor o kanfenda o kalaji ngawale hit kara kananang so ni mol tata for sebanor kananang sometimes aka 120 something no 150 or 120 something 20 something that 75 70 120 50 that so ni mol tata for kanfenda nyol ni tamita kanfenda do manding ni mol kananang I 200 go hit so ni mol tata for kalaji more than 200 more than above
Sai Usman Sina ite kan na le competition do kele no min commence takabo kalaji kana fo Banjul at 22 do competition nyin duta bake ya fonye ko ale ko ya ko sotol alla ko ya ko do bi jolo bay school la karola bay school competition nyin manke ko comme ka fo don ha ye bompa bike la soto wala just racing bike quality bicycle le bi mina on kalkita atol ni race ko non tonya ko be nyon quality bike sal bulu ko ali ya fa nyame bari ali akata no falla kata ko fi ditani competition ko ali o keno nyaadi
comme ali ya fa nyame ko tarte nata wala mu trente comme ali ya explain train anim ka nyanka ka le fangola ni trenta e mal le fangola ta keno because ibe mol dol jelala ibe wala baykol jela drong ye panic ye jifof so ni wakete la raketa make no la but ye confidence soto fa wala ye men soto rek yo use do ni ata bay ko la karo jibe ntol la bay ko ni ya cross ntol lel be low class ni dara international comme last time na fa non jang interview do to non jang ntol la bay ko li be ka songa ni la bay ko le pak ñokam fa because na bay ko they are old you know i mulun jabata le kuliata sangarata ne kensan lel be bala sa ñin dol bu ka songen na bay ko ni la bay ko fa le pak ñokam so ni ata wo nyama ino ita competition keno so yemen soto rek e bol tala yaka ya comme ya fina na championship o men soto jana wo sifa ngol explain ni nje bay ko le tembulo kono but new championship o jibes 135 kilometers adu nabor in time la adu nabor perfectly so ninga bay kendol soto den se ku keno le internationally men tambeta no ngamen ke Senegal ten with their millions of dollars bikes or thousands of dollars bikes so ntol ni na 7,000 bikes le tarasi so nga megge but ninga bike ndo so sinin samo nse kusa mano na banko kana men tambeta no ngani men sama nante like ñun mu damal ni ngol lelti
so ni a sekulim von karola banko kanjang competition o aldammal le ka organize aldammal le ka compete amanke ko comme jang sekulin yirwata janne foy ka sekul jamal soto mi alon ko okay ni ko national championship maybe 100 200 cycle soto mi alon ko participate la je alla association ko mi reñadi le comme pour maybe pour kada ñu kan kaje ko nin competition o fanam be kala moy sia demande
okay association ni mba try kan bari comme a fola kolata dron bari comme ma ko role mon soto because nim makoro ka sota nyama no association ka makoro sota nyama like ya fa don every 3 months or every 2 months competition ka ke ebe cycle sol jala janne nam la menu jafang ebe mo jala mo be siala la bitale for maybe hundreds of people ebe men jala la nota bebe lola pour ka compete because abuka sotole competition abuka sotole sometimes it is for 6 or 1 year ebe real competition soto because association ka trale ka phone nyini but phone be ka soto no pour nga competition ninke so wala mu kole akode me alen ko no but association ba try kan pour ka je ko no ni competition keta moy sia like even amanda gambia janna bot nga mol invite na men kana because even bishaw ni invite jang binale murtani konakri yebe invite de binale but mune keta competition bu ka soto jang anyama wala tane no ni modol bu kana no adun competition mem bu ka soto na banko fankan jang wala tane cycle sol jamal beje say ye daha dole dahale dol man trake kan ni na banyu reso ni jibe championship men tamtano momem borta woto ni reso organize jam bi kotake o mo ito mo sotla because dolbe jang tatale saying almost 7 months saying wala 1 year nin sa recall competition man ke follow kende ma mbe wala like long distance so dolbe de tatale ji fofta ye da hawala sa wala mun na problem competition bu ko soto wala na cycle so man gana sia kanyanto sia nyam
cycling me sports le mi alon ko akumata baka warta baka mbeka Tour de France moy le ñinam fon atata la stage do bije africano le win aketa competition o mi alon ko kolata baka cycling be olympics kono le abe other international events also mi alon ka keje Gambia la participation o be ñaadi le atol Senegal damma ani nial invite maybe Guinea Bissau wala Conakry al ka participate no damma tan nene manta para pandala banko dula do mi manke ñim bankol
ntol lañu jamano ntol be jam tamen to ten ntol lañu studio ntol namnanta dula do to damen ko safo ko ngata international comme Europe mo fonto namnanta auto ntol Africa jam mo fonto rek ni invite ni nga soto ngata ni ma soto ngasi ntol ka ko
and wo soto ñim fanan jama rabal la jifo la kon
jama be jaka bonna jifo la kon wala nga yemoje men ko ay la fi yeta ay ma koy pasoto yeta like ni men hapunta ten from Senegal ntol mole paso din nga ñu win na wala pasol tato ni nato atala bejo mole kata kana so internationally ntol dal namnan tawto na manke danta murtani Conakry no lo kata but ni nata olympic wala set dibe qualification ka kede
de woto ha wala ka qualify
because olympic ni adibe jamal kata e ka win e ka stage e ka place win jele through point lala through UCI la point lala like quand même faut briam girma le wote atam electrian wote ate UCI la place so through point lala so atata participate ala banko to so ni olympique o jibe bankol men ke la mol CJ banko bo katami monan la e jamal beje e bo katami monan la because point ole beje nanta men sur l'état ndol at least nyanta place sort la ni all African Games leto natar nun kon tata no all African Games
leto
yeah won se place sort no le because ninga time bit maybe UCI sajibe no ko nyun la time is perfect so let us give them time nga time dila nga place dila Olympic or eta nga jibe but manta no all African Games to because here 7 cyclists select no so in aro be reject e ko only 2 lebita so at the end ye 2 from reject e ko there's no fun so we have no chance. But follow to no, na mol kata no all African Games tole no, cyclisol men tambira no before tol, adika kume gele, so wol jamal be de kata European country to kaborije, so ntolel ma chance to science because fun because sort of prove ngata.
Nin kumu saying alim say diamu diamaro la Carola, Usman be min fo contenting fon la Carola ni fon man soto abekela problem molti atol athlete sol comment fo nyami mol bijele mi an ko disconnecta do le fo nya cycling fangola an cycling mu sports lo mi an nga warta dunia la karadola comme be Tour de France min fo contenting Afrique kano nyin grema mi an ko competition okay je for the first time mo fi for the first time an African I was ni win competition auto so ya itandila ko ni mo sports le mi an ko ni moye bulo dunje abital no nyatole albe mo ne fo la démarre balle pour ma ko la Carola on sakunda aning faye compagnie
yeah wo ma ko la Carola you know comme ye fon dundi ya jibe ko like comme we min ke kan comme ni ko like ite be ni tol sponsor la yele fi ka win bi you know comme aba ko le comme ite be bulo dun tol ko sama tol do ko wala bi ni to fin den la you know but niko like ite be bulo dun lan ta ko ntol ko so ite comme ito de fin de la instant you know comme ate aba ko la pour fin de instant because amantra sembo so daga so ni start ke bulo dun hama ida ye club sponsor o ye individual sponsor can you imagine new noarita da first sama keta kuti you know awe jama la follow to fala yeah because ala ta ko la ite mi bulo dun ko wadna ni anyan to man trata ka mambo so to mi bulo dun ko you know so ni mo so to mi bulo dun mol ko you know anga after abeti ala nyato dal e mari to be findela comme ñim ben yam gërema ka même faté you know ala dunia be sa ka ka tra school back or sprint every ala life be mo back ko you know and ala parents so la support don to la parents so ben support kan you know do mo ba fakam kabin ta jonda cycle to mo ba fakam a fa ko be kelal de you know ngam we wol min be ko fanye kunung bi wala kana fanye ko boy to nya you know ke ko mo ko malen no but keep it up e bal try kan you know ko la so ni mo lebulo dun ko dala bet aw bet yalla you know yeah and always coming for thing like ni aje cycle sol because ya comme e ka give up wala because ni aje cycle sol ka give up comme e bet mela train la you know e train o train you need food you need nutrition you know you can need fenna la mi alan ko pour la body anga comme you can maintain le fitness o maintain no so how comes it will be spend la and the NIK 0 ti amang easy anu ngo e kamin kata ngi fonga kata do ko tarola mo buke so ala no e fonga kata do ko tarola no ena ya dundi ela bag be ponchola ita fonga ba ina sana ela bag chino ba ita fonga ba sana fonga fem bag ball no bag is very expensive you know yeah it's different with football maybe need someone to you know fengo eta play you know ni nata nan comme like ndolla class be dami right now bon dobe dami right now you know even ni la fenjama la from helmet kits you know foduma glass everything bay ko bole ena bay ko fongo jibe everything ila ne ko be sang so it's difficult you know so ni nata reso la Carola fana jang you know comme ni reso so rata you know mol comme for like comme ebuka xam nga price o jo yeah comme ebuka price o jo so which means ning reso so rata wa fala ko milimetri ko wala mala batala so fana dol ka dol jiva bonila but ni res killing so rata you know your price ba jo for example 50 or 60 or 70 or for example at high price jo you know sama dol ba hamela yeah so ni hamete fana hamete ate afala ko no nta fana ngiem bidla next time atem bidla so competition be higher so no si va siada killing fula sabayo e bajale wol mimbi retire wol mimbi stop they will come back and for them to come back is easy because you know nasakuti je savasity je fenti je you know your fitness ila strength wala bije you know so ni la fitness doku you know you start a train you will come back yeah so si va drone bije you know so ma ko yoro karara you know I'm especially at all from hanga QCell you know ala CEO you know let's say it names everything from Jang you know other companies fanang you know government you know ministry of sport GNOC you know and then I don't know others come ni nata jibe dal Gambia lam ko ditiol bijane you know they can do it
Bake,
They can
de
do
maro kay fo wose soto ning cyclist bitala nyato cyclist ol pour ka Gambia to jamfandi ifele be competition ole win momo ba jibe kan na laftal blo dunne koto pour que dema aning fa your company lombang sa ko man sakunda Ministry of Youth and Sports ba sports ol bijele milalon ko e ko all support bro bijele football bije ku jamal bije basketball bije volleyball nyolbe bar ñin fanam ka cycling leke if I will choose as sports, so bunya fengol le win kabira the competition to Senegal. Usman be danna janeto alam fo watido ñen sifal be sotol ko tanke be kachanyi kono fanendula ma yirwandila. We'll now take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about football. Gambian players internationally, some who signed a contract, and some of them, one is expected to at least feature for Brighton Hove Albion in the English Premier League later today.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. Qcell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the Qcell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. And that's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. Qcell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. Qcell, your trusted network in the Gambia. With so many things to do in
Get a Qcell SIM card for free! Yes, absolutely free! Walk into any of our customer care centers and get a SIM free of charge. With a Qcell SIM card, you can get the fastest and the most reliable internet plus wide range of amazing services. So rush now to any of our care centers and get a free SIM now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. Qcell Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the Qcell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. And that's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. Qcell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow.
Do your banking the smart way with the new Aji Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. top up airtime for all networks, pay utility bills, check your account balance and view mini statements, request for ATM cards, request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Ajibank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Ajibank, your investment partner.
Looking for internet for your free videos, pictures, chats, work, and school projects? Think free night browsing. QCell's free night browsing lets you browse the internet for free. Oh yeah. Get a data SIM, recharge a minimum of $500 C, and enjoy free browsing after 24 hours from midnight to 6 a.m. every
Welcome back, and thank you very much if you're just joining us. This is Qsports, and I am Momodu Gaichaga. Joining me on the line is journalist Fode Mane. We're going to talk about Gambian players. Recently, Aliou Fodera signed a contract from Genk in the Belgium Pro League to the Italian Serie A for a newly promoted team called Qsports. Well, Fode, we'll also be talking about another player, Yankuba Minteh, who could feature for Brighton Hove Albion in the English Premier League. He'll be the second Gambian to play in the English Premier League if he features for Brighton later today against Everton. Also, another Gambian player is Adama Sidibe, who scored a brace for St Johnstone in the Scottish Premier League. Fode, let's start with Yankuba Minteh. This is a player who has really impressed in pre-season for Brighton. He scored 3 goals and also has an assist, getting into the English Premier League in shape. Should he have any opportunity to feature for Brighton later today? How do you think he will perform?
Yeah, I think for Yankuba, he started brightly with Brighton. You know, it is not a surprise to any Gambian football follower, you know, knowing fully well that what Yankuba can do at that level. You know, and the good thing is that he has been given the chance to start all the 3 games of Brighton in the preseason. And they played against 2 Japanese clubs, you know, when they traveled to Japan. And as well, they played against Villarreal, a top Spanish club. And he shone. He scored 3 goals, assisted once, and he started in all 3 games. So that is sending us a signal that he is already an important player for Brighton. And for me, I'm not ruling it out that he would be starting, you know, against Everton later this afternoon for their Premier League opener and become the second ever Gambian player to feature in the English Premier League. I'm not, you know, ruling that out, and I'm very much sure we will see Yankuba in that starting lineup, and I'm seeing those chances already because he has already proven himself in the preseason. You know, he has adapted, you know, very quickly with the team, and yeah, already getting used to some of the playing style of some of the top players that he is playing along with, likes of Welbeck, you know, likes of that Japanese guy, you know. So I'm foreseeing that. I'm sure he's gonna start today against Everton.
Well, for lots of Brighton Hove Albion supporters in the Gambia today, and almost, if not all Gambians, but most football fans would be watching Brighton versus Everton. What a popular game it's going to be in the Gambia.
Of course. You know, we've all seen how everyone was happy when Yankuba's move to Brighton was announced. You know, even though he left fellow Premier League side to Brighton, but then everyone knew that was going to happen because Newcastle at the time were trying to overcome certain, you know, troubles, and now he moved to a much, you know, competitive team. I think for me, you know, even though Newcastle has been outstanding, you know, in the last 1 or 2 years. So, but Brighton, you know, they're always, you know, they're competing against the Big Six. And moving to Brighton is a huge thing for Yankuba, a young player like him. Everyone welcomed, everyone celebrated it. And now to watch him play in the Premier League for the first time will be another feeling. And everyone is looking forward to it. I'm sure already Gambians, whatever they're doing, they are preparing ahead of that time that moment to see Yankuba in the pitch, doing in Brighton's jersey and playing in the Premier League. Everyone is looking forward to this game. I know there's a game for Arsenal fans at the same time, but I know Arsenal fans as well will want to watch Yankuba play against Everton this afternoon.
Well, it's going to be another affair in the Gambia when it comes to the English Premier League and Gambian love affair with the Premier League clubs, the likes of Arsenal that you've named there. Yesterday, Manchester United, a team, of course, that I support, played in that very, very difficult game with Fulham, but eventually won by 1-0. And so also later on, Chelsea will play, Liverpool will play. Those are the popular teams in the Gambia. But now there's no doubt Brighton Hove Albion also will be having some fans in the Gambia, especially when Yankuba Minteh features for the team. Well, overall, what do you expect of him? This is a player who is explosive. This is a player who has pace. He's a player who can take on defenders, and he has an eye for goal. Proof that in preseason. But preseason is completely different from the real Premier League, the intensity of the Premier League. Do you still expect him to go there and shine?
Yeah, just like you said, Yankuba is having almost all the qualities of the forward player, and he has shown in the preseason. We will all agree the preseason is far different from the Premier League. The Premier League is high, the intensity, the way they play, the style is different, So I'm so already he knows what the club needs, and he knows what exactly the way they need to play everything. Maybe he has already learned, and yeah, he's a new coach as well. Maybe he has already adopted into the ideas of the coach, and hopefully, if the coach thinks that he's the player that he needs to count on in the starting lineup, he's gonna put him in, even though there is a different ball of football, But then again, I'm not gonna rule it out that he's still going to show us what he can, because Yankuba is that player who always wants to take the challenge. You can see the hunger in him. And one thing I know, he's very exploitative, but if he has the chance to destroy the opponent at any point, he can. And he's unstoppable at some point, and I'm sure he can really do something when he's given the chance. And I'm looking forward to him starting this game. I don't know. Maybe people will say, okay, it's a first game in the Premier League. He could come from the bench. But for what I've seen in Yankuba already, I think he's looking forward to this game. He's hungry for it. And if he's given the chance, he will prove everyone right, as he usually do.
Well, we wish Yankuba Minteh all the best of luck in this afternoon's game against Everton. Let's talk about another player, Adama Sidibe. He featured for the Gambian national team, had a good performance in our previous encounter, and this is a player who has scored twice for St Johnstone in the Scottish Premier League. How impressive was his performance?
Yeah, Adama is an outstanding player, honestly. That proves, from hearing what he is currently gaining, the attention he's currently gaining, or the interest he's currently gaining from top clubs in England. Adama joined St Johnstone from a non-league club, just last January, and he played in the second half of last season, played 15 games and scored 5 goals, and then he started, gathering attention from top clubs. Among them is Swansea City, one club that Gambians have been watching, because of Modu Barrow. They came in for him and made an offer, but it was a bit lower than his club's demand, so it was rejected. Which was very true. It was rejected, and still Swansea are keeping tab on him and still want to come for him again. So that type of player tells you, what he can do and what type of player exactly he is. And players, teams like Swansea, teams like Millwall, Middlesbrough are all paying attention to him. So Adama is just a striker I've been looking forward to be playing for the Gambia. And the good thing is that he did, and you could see on his debut he scored off the bench. And those type of goals, for far too long I have not seen, with due respect to other strikers, I've not seen a Gambian striker, scoring from that angle with that, shot height, So that tells you Adama is another striker that we really can count on. He's hungry, he's having the strength, which I like about him. The pace is there, and he can score from any angle. So he's a striker that a lot of clubs are currently paying attention to. He'll be playing this afternoon against Rangers in the Scottish Cup, and I already understand from his camp that a few clubs like Norwich City, Wigan Athletic, and Queen's Park Rangers will be watching him today with the view of having him before the end of the transfer. Hopefully, he's still open to leaving St. Johnstone, even though he started and scored a brace in their first, or second Premiership game, but still open to leaving St. Johnstone if the right offer comes. And these clubs will be watching him today, waiting to see whether they'll be making a move for him before the end of the summer transfer. And hopefully, one big club could come for him.
And Adama's story is a little bit funny because this is a player who played in the Brikama Nawetan for Punta Lana, then played in the first division, and all of a sudden, for me, when I saw his pictures for the first time, I was really surprised, with his trajectory playing at the lowest level of Gambian football. In fact, that's where everybody starts. Aside from street football, the first thing is getting into play Nawetan, the community football. And Adama, from there, started shining on. And look at where he is right now.
Yeah, I think it's about belief. It's about belief, You need to believe and also put in a lot of hunger that you have something that you need to achieve. You want to achieve something, regardless of where you're coming from, For me, he's a player that when I saw St. Johnstone were interested in, I was like, who is this player? Then he was playing in non-league, football in England, in the UK. So I found out, and I was told that he was playing even with Marimo in the Gambian league. So I was like, oh. So I was able to initiate contact with him and then ask few questions, and he was able to tell me he left just 2 years, and he is able to play for a club like St. Johnstone. That tells you how much effort he has put in, the hunger, the belief that he has that he can reach that level. And of course, now he is gathering attention or interest from top clubs like Swansea, who already made an offer for him, even though it is rejected. And they could even come back, in the last week of the summer transfer. So it's about belief. And I think if a lot of our players have this type of zeal to say, okay, I think I can reach that top level, putting aside whatever football brings along the way, they just will reach that level. And hopefully, who knows, maybe in the next, he's very young, maybe in the next 2-3 years, we will see him play in the English Premier League. Very possible. A player who could play in the Scottish Premiership is very possible that he could play also in the English Premier League. And that could happen any soon.
Now let's talk about Aliou Fodera. This is a player that you've been monitoring, followed. Quite a very good player in terms of take-ons and also an eye for goal. When he newly signed for Genk in the Belgium Pro League, this is a player who was expected to excel, but things didn't quite turn out well. Just had a goal, 3 assists for the entire season. That's this just ended season. It didn't go as to planned. But now, with all that, this team that is newly promoted into the Italian Serie A, that's Como, being, of course, managed by former Arsenal player, that's Cesc Fabregas, is interested in him and eventually signed him a 4-year contract. Tell us about this deal.
Yeah, for Aliou, I think we will all agree football now is more or less about politics, Aliou, when he was leaving Waregem to go to Genk, I think I shared about that some days ago. He received a late offer from Burnley at the time. Burnley promoted to English Premier League under Vincent Kompany, Man City's legend. They wanted to hijack his deal to bring him to Burnley, away from Genk. But then he decided with his camp that, he will go to Genk because there's a condition with Genk that, if he moves to Genk, he will just need to play 1 or 2 seasons and then they will, sell him to a much higher club or a much higher league. which has now proven because he has moved to Serie A. We all know Serie A is higher than the Belgian Pro League. So, but like I said, football is about politics. If such conditions are put there, sometimes the clubs also try to play their cards to see how they try to reduce your performance rate and everything, so they will not be able to leave you at that instant when they need you. But yes, he helped them at some point. They were even struggling to finish in the top to make it to Europe. He was so instrumental and also hit by some injury. I think in the middle of the season he was out for about 4 or 5 games, but recovered and he was back. But if you watch his games with the Gambia and you watch his games with Genk, you will know he is more of an important player to even Gambia than Genk, because what he has been doing for us, he has been giving chance more in the Gambia than in Genk. But for me, I think I've seen the political aspect of football in that, because of the conditions, attack and all that. So, but yeah, now they've kept their promise, and he has moved to Como, a team that is trying to, come back to Italian football after, Italian top tier after a long time, under legends like Thierry Henry, a shareholder, and as well Cesc Fabregas, who is also a shareholder, but as well the head coach of the club. And he has shown interest and now brought him to the team to be part of a setup including likes of Manchester United and Real Madrid former player, Rafa Varane, Pepe Reina, and former Liverpool striker and Spanish striker Romeo. So it's a good thing for him to move to Serie A and play alongside those experienced players and top level footballers, and that will help him a lot as a young player, and as well for the Gambia. He will learn a lot from them, and who knows, maybe in the next 1 or 2 years we will see him also move to the English Premier League as well, because Ali is that player who you can see anywhere. I think he's just like that Yankuba Minde type, he can take on anyone, he can play anywhere. So he's that player I really admire, and I'm sure he can make it to any level.
Well, Fodemane, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to having lots of these discussions with you as the season continues when it comes to Gambian players. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's journalist Fodemane. And now let's talk about the Gambia Under-20 as they prepare for the WAFU Zone A Under-20 Championship, which is going to be held in Liberia next month. And the head coach, that is Abdoulaye Bojang, was talking about the level of preparedness of his team. Let's listen to this piece. Well, it appears that piece is not ready to be used, but the Gambia Under-20 coach, Abdoulaye Bojang, it is being said by him in an interview that his team is highly prepared for the competition when it comes to the WAFU Zone A. This is a competition where the Gambia are paired with Senegal, with Mali, and also they are going to play against Mauritania in the group. It's the group winners who, that is the team that take first and the team that takes second, who will get into the semi-final. And eventually, the winner of the competition and the runner-up will get to the African Under-20 Championship, the 2025 edition. But now let's go to Coach Abdoulaye Bojang. The Gambia Under-20 are stepping up their preparation for the WAFU Zone A Under-20 competition in Liberia, scheduled to run from the 9th to the 15th of September. Head coach Abdoulaye Bojang says his team is in good shape as they prepare to battle it out with familiar opponents, Mauritania, Senegal, and Mali. The coach first has a daunting task of reducing his current squad of 34 players down to at least 22 for the tournament.
The preparation is in high gear. We finished with the screening process. Now we have 30 infield players and 4 goalkeepers. We started preparing for the WAFU competition, and definitely things are going fine.
The team recently played some friendlies, including taking on some club sides, and recorded an impressive 4-0 thrashing of Team Rhino, who finished 5th in the most recent GFF First Division League. Well, that's the coach. That's Abdoulaye Bojang talking about the Gambia Under-20 team, how prepared his team is. looking forward to the competition which is going to be played in Liberia. But that's it for Qsports this afternoon. Thank you very much for watching. Join us again next week at the same time. Until then, have a lovely day. Bye.